Good afternoon. I'm going to call the Health and Human Services Committee meeting to order. Before we begin, we have an update from Job and Family Services.
There we go. Hi, everybody. I'm Heather Yannion, Deputy Director at Job and Family Services, here to give you just some updates on some of the impacts that we're seeing and changes that have happened to the SNAP Assistance Program and some upcoming changes to the Medicaid program. The legislation that went through last year for the the Big Beautiful Bill, House Bill 1, changed the requirements for able-bodied adults. It used to be called able-bodied adults without dependents. Now it's just called able-bodied adults, ABA. And what that did was it expanded the group of individuals that have to be working 20 hours a week or participating in a work requirement in order to stay eligible for assistance. The potential impact in our county is about 16,000 individuals, or about 21% of our SNAP population. Some high-level things: they expanded the ABA population to age 64, so 18 to 64. They also reduced the minor child requirement. So before, you were considered to have a minor child for ABA if your child was under 18. Now it's under 14. So what that means is if you're an adult that has a child, all your children are 15, 16, 17, you are required to do the work program also. The first month, so the legislation actually went into effect November 1st, but because of the government shutdown, everything that happened, the state got a waiver to not implement it until February. So the computer programming happened January 26th, and the first month of impact or accountability is actually March, the one that we're sitting in. So what we're seeing is the ABA individuals are now accumulating their 1 out of 3 months that they're eligible for 36 months. So this population, if they don't work or participate in a work program this month, April or May, will accumulate their 3 months. And then the first 2 weeks in May, we will run their cases and shut down anybody that has accumulated those 3 and they're not eligible for food stamps then for another 33 months. There is no way to remedy the 3 of 36 unless you are employed. So you can't come in and say, hey, I want to do a work program now in order to get my food stamps back. You have to have been employed 80 hours in the last 60 days in order to get one of those months back. So we're anticipating, we're looking at our lists, and the first month in May, we're looking at the first 2 weeks, we're probably going to have to run between 23 and 2,500 cases to close them down. If we don't do that and they receive a 4th month of assistance, that 4th month is considered an overpayment and they would be required to pay that back. So that's why it's crucial. Plus, for payment accuracy purposes, that full allotment would be found in error if it was pulled by the feds. So those are the big change that's happening right now, on top of some smaller changes with SUA, utility checks. And then we're anticipating that the same group of individuals that got expanded Medicaid will then be required to have employment of 20 hours a week to stay eligible for Medicaid, and that looks like that's going to happen in January. We haven't gotten the full rules from the feds, from CMS. So we're looking at that. We don't know if there's going to be any kind of work program where they can participate to stay eligible for Medicaid, or if they just have to be employed, and if they're not employed, they're no longer eligible for Medicaid. That being said, the payment standard is 133% for that expanded Medicaid. So if they are employed and they do get a job, they may become eligible based on 20 hours, but there's a good chance then they'll be over income. So we're not quite sure what the fallout's going to be. So just wanted to give you some high level information on what's happening right now. I will say that We were already having issues with the number of staff versus phone calls versus, all of these changes have exacerbated that. There's a lot of people getting notices in the mail. They don't understand them. They're calling. So now it's starting to hit. I was talking to someone today, and they said that now people are starting to panic. There's so the community forums that we're doing, we're anticipating the next one's going to be heavily attended. So, any questions that I can help with?
Yes, please go ahead.
Heather, with the 2,300 cases you said you have to handle this month,
Yeah.
will you need extra folks to handle that? I mean, that's a lot of cases.
We're just going to have to figure it out. I'm not sure. We'll probably, I have to divide and conquer amongst the staff. We might use some overtime. I'm not sure how we're going to tackle it in May. Right now, I mean, they tried to automate some of the stuff, but like we have an automated, what they call bot at the state that handles like the fallout cases. And typically before these ABA changes, we would get the fallout report of manual cases we needed to touch, and it was about 50 a month. This last month, which was the first month that ran through the fallout, was over 750. So the automation is not doing everything. So we're just not sure how many are not going to participate and then how many that list is going to be. But just based on some raw numbers, we just think that it's going to be a lot of running cases. And we'll do the best that we can. We have until adverse action, which is for May, I think is May 13th. And my staff's already looking at pulling that report the first Monday of the month and starting to look at things. So,
Heather, one other question if I could.
Mm-hmm.
So if I understand the process now, folks either need to be employed for 80 hours,
20 hours a week or the
20 hours.
equivalent of 80 hours a month.
80 hours a month, and then also you can fill that in by volunteering, correct?
Correct. So they need to either get verification into our system that they're volunteering 20 hours a week, and there's a form that they have to fill out to do that, prove employment. And volunteering also includes unpaid work, in-kind work that needs to be documented. Or they can enroll in our SNAP ENT program, which is our employment and training program. And as long as they enroll and they're progressing through the program, that counts as participation. So they need one of those three to stay eligible and not accumulate one of the 3 months.
What happens to individuals who have impairments to either volunteering or employment, like, for example,
So they would need an
for
exemption.
transportation, age,
Yeah. So if
related issues?
age is one of those things because of the thing. But if they have an exemption, so if they're deemed medically or physically unfit, they have to, some population, 18 to 59, can be taking care of a disabled family member. If you're on unemployment, there is a list of exemptions. And that's the other thing that we're telling people. If they feel that they're exempt, we need them to get that in so we can update their case so they come off of the list of an ABA, because then they're not considered an able-bodied adult. They're no longer under that requirement. The other big change is this ABA population is also subject to be redetermined every 6 months instead of every year. So this population is going to have to do a redetermination and turn their paperwork in every 6 months. If you're exempt and you're not that ABA, then your recertification stays 12 months.
What happens if an individual can't find a volunteer opportunity or employment? If
They
just
accumulate
can't-
a month.
They've tried, they can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's many ways to define it. And like I said, if they're having a hard time, then they should enroll in the SNAP ENT so that we can try to find an opportunity for them.
Thank you.
Heather, how about childcare during these times? If
I missed the part you said.
Sorry, I was just asking about childcare.
Yes.
For individuals. You said 14 and under was the age range
Yeah,
for
so-
eligibility?
So if you have a minor that's over 14, you have to participate. But if you have a minor that's 13 or younger, you don't. So that they're saying that you don't have a child in the home that's keeping you from working if all your kids are 14 or older. But that's a bigger population. And on top of that, we also lost the exemptions. So I listed that we had exemptions for unfit and those kind of things. We lost exemptions for homelessness, veterans, and aging out of foster care. So before, prior to this bill, if you were homeless, you met that unfit exemption or you had an exemption, we no longer can give you an exemption for homelessness, veteran, or aging out of foster. So you have to meet a different exemption or participate that 20 hours. Yeah.
Any other questions for Councilman Schmidt?
Now, how many people do you estimate are homeless and on food stamps in Summit County?
I can't ballpark that. I don't have that stat off the top of my head. I don't know.
Could you?
I can get it for you guys.
Thanks. Would you
Yeah.
do that, please? Thank you.
Yeah, no, I can pull it. I just can't pull it out of my head right now.
This is federal and state
It's federal.
legislatures?
It's federal. It's across the whole nation. The homelessness, the veteran exemption, and foster care was federally removed.
Not just that. I mean the whole thing.
Oh, the whole thing,
This is
yes.
the one big, beautiful.
Yes. House Bill 1.
I better watch my language because there's another word that starts with B that really describes it, I think, better than beautiful. Okay? This is, the legislators that voted for this, they ought to be embarrassed. One of the most despicable things I've ever seen in the time that I've been involved in government service to do to people. And with the unemployment rate going up and inflation going up, and we're spending $1 billion a day on the war in the Middle East, but we're going to treat people like they're some kind of thieves for accepting some food stamps. And this is not a lot of money, my understanding. What does a single person get in food stamps per month, for example?
The average household, the average household receives between $300 and $400, and that's
about
a household.
what
A
about
single individual can't receive more than, I think it's max is $236, if I remember off the top.
So $55 a week.
Yeah, it's not very much, sir.
I know, but they're going to cut it.
Yes.
But they're going to cut it. So we can spend $1 billion a day on the war in the Middle East, but we're going to cut people that are getting $55 a week in food stamps. I mean, this is sickening, and I hope the the American people, see what's going on here and react accordingly. And if there's anything we can do to cover the cost of giving people, because these homeless people, most of them are, you keep looking over here, what, is there something?
No, I'm just watching.
Okay. Is there anything we can do, the county can do to cover the cost of food stamps for homeless people? How's a homeless person going to volunteer or work 20 hours a week? How? But could you explain that to me? And I know this isn't your fault.
No, I know. So previously, a long time ago, there was an exemption for homelessness, and then it was determined that being homeless had enough barriers that it was, if someone was homeless, it was unrealistic for them to be able to hold a job of 20 hours a week or volunteer or participate. However, the legislation now says that it's not unrealistic, and we have to apply that policy to all SNAP participants.
Well, Phil, is there anything we can do? Could we look into somehow figuring out how many people would be affected by this? And is there some way to cover them? Could we look into that, please?
Definitely look at it.
Thank you.
So I can tell
Thanks.
you, we've identified that it could potentially impact over 16,000 of our residents who receive SNAP benefits in this way, whether they are veterans who use the veteran status exemption or the homeless population. So we can send the breakdown of the numbers, but it's roughly 16,000 folks who could likely be impacted from this.
Wait a minute,
So
you're saying 16,000 homeless people?
16,000 total. I'm not sure what the subset of homeless is.
I would like to know what I'm talking about the subset of the homeless people. You already said how many people would be affected by in total. And I think you said 22,000?
16,000, which is 21%.
21%, okay. Well, I'm particularly at this time interested in the number of homeless people and whether or not we can help them. And I've spoken with Phil about the number of homeless kids in the Akron Public Schools. And what's that number, Phil?
1,900.
How many?
Just under
1,900, John.
1,900 kids in the Akron Public Schools are homeless. You know, and we're going to cut people's food stamps that aren't that much to begin with. It's ridiculous. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, ma'am, for listening. It's very upsetting. This is just, I mean, where things are going are just crazy.
Any other questions for Heather?
could share, and apologies if we already have it, but you mentioned some community forums. If we could get the information to Mark to send to all of us, we'd appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll let you know. The date of the next one is being finalized. I think it's between March 28th and March 29th, but we'll get that information. It should be finalized by the end of the week.
And please express our gratitude to you and to the people dealing with all of this mess, because you know, we all feel, I think, like Councilman Schmidt, that this is a terrible course that our federal government has taken, but you're all on the front lines of trying to help people get the help that they need, and we appreciate that. And I know your staff is doing it under a great deal of stress and difficult conditions, and they're overloaded, so wish we could do more, but please express our gratitude.
Thank you. The staff's doing, an amazing job with the resources that they have, and they hear things that nobody else hears every single day. So we appreciate you acknowledging that. Any other questions for me?
Mr. Chairman, one other thing.
Sure.
This money, the 16,000 people that are going to be cut off food stamps, those food stamps, it goes to grocery stores. It goes to the Acme. It goes to the Giant Eagle. It goes to Dave's. It goes to all these different grocery stores. So it puts money back in the community of Summit County. It just makes no sense whatsoever to me. Thanks again. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We have 3 items on the agenda for Health and Human Services today. Resolution 2026060 is a resolution authorizing the executive to advertise for bids for payroll services for youth and adult employment programs for an estimated total cost not to exceed $3 million for the Executive's Department of Job and Family Services emergency.
Good evening. Tom Jalbert, Job and Family Services. This is a request to seek bids for our third-party payroll processing service. This is a service that we use that processes the wages and incentives for our youth employment programs, our summer youth employment program, our year-round employment program, incentives for our benefit bridge program, and things like that. We use a third party to reduce the administrative burden of processing these payments. Plus, it provides an independent employer of record for those receiving wages. This is a joint bid with the SAMWA-COG for the use of their WIOA funds. And for the last few bids, we've only had one response. So we'll see what this year holds.
Okay. Any questions from members of the committee?
Hey, Tom. Just so we're clear, the $3 million is the entire project cost, right? That's the pass-through
Yes.
of their actual wages and
Absolutely.
things like that. I don't want anybody thinking we're
No.
paying $3 million for the software or something. That's like 2% of the $3 million.
No, the administrative cost is nowhere near $3 million.
Thanks, Tom.
Sure. Any other questions from members of the committee? Members of council? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion from Councilman Wilhite. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 2026061 is a resolution declaring the month of March 2026 as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month in Summit County, recognizing people with developmental disabilities for their contributions to our community and their perseverance in breaking down barriers for the executive and declaring an emergency.
Good evening.
Good
Hello.
evening.
My name is Michael Stanley. I live in Stowe, and I just wanted to thank you all for the resolution making March the Disability Awareness Month. Inclusion is very important for people like me. Little things like ramps, elevators, being able to get in and out of public buildings, things that most people don't think of as being important. Very important for me and people like me. And this month will go a long way towards making sure that more people are aware of what's going on. And hopefully this will lead to more change. So thank you.
Thank you for coming. Definitely. Are there any questions from members of the committee? Or members of council as a whole? Okay. May I have a motion? Motion from Councilwoman McKinney. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 2026062, a resolution declaring the month of March 2026 as Women's History Month in Summit County, recognizing the women of America, the achievements they have made, and the struggles they have faced and continue to face today for the executive, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Rachel Madigan from Executive Eileen Shapiro's Department of Administration and Public Information. I am happy to be here today to share some words for Women's History Month. So we all know Summit County has a rich tradition of empowering women leaders. We have an entire judicial bench of 13 people, all women. We have many firsts in every single charter office and council. And there's no question, women lead in Summit County. But this goes beyond elections and government. Our nonprofit and business sectors are full of women in leadership, doing the nitty-gritty grassroots work to directing millions of dollars in funding at a high level. We have so many women leaders in Summit County that we have a nonprofit organization that exclusively centers women in leadership in the greater Akron area. Athena Akron, founded 11 years ago, provides frequent programming for established and upcoming leaders. It is a great opportunity to network, to meet other women across various levels in their professions, and what I think is an underrated feature to validate our experiences in the workplace as women. Maybe a little unfortunately, there's a whole other world out there besides Summit County. Yesterday, March 8th, was International Women's Day. And the first person that comes to my mind when I think of International Women's Day is Malala Yousafzai. Malala is 2 years older than me. When she was 11 years old, girls' schools were banned in her home country of Pakistan. When she was 15 years old, she was shot in the head by a member of the Taliban for being an outspoken young activist who dared to say that women and girls deserve the right to go to school. Today, she is a 28-year-old Nobel Peace Prize winner, whom I humbly follow on Instagram. And she frequently posts videos about how kids today think that she's a figure from the 18th century, and they can't believe she's alive, and posting TikTok trends on social media. And I don't fault people for thinking these kinds of attacks on our basic human rights don't happen in the 2010s or 2020s, because they shouldn't happen. But it's our job to continue to raise awareness that women are vulnerable in our world. And that's not a weakness of us as women, but an error in our society that we've been fighting to correct for ages. We witness images of survivors of sexual abuse and physical violence forgotten and ignored. We find disparities in maternal health outcomes because doctors don't believe Black women when they say they are in pain. We watch legislation pass that threatens the ability for women to register to vote simply for taking their husband's last names. And for every story of a triumphant victory, every woman has had to walk the fine line between shrill and mousy, or be labeled bossy or irrational to get there. Women's History Month gives us the opportunity to celebrate all that we have accomplished and bring to light the fact that we have much farther to go. Not with disdain or blame, but with the fierce resolve that the best women we know have. The women who buckle down, stare down reality, and keep marching forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Any questions from members of the committee?
Council as a whole?
Council as a whole? All right, may I have a motion?
I would add, well done.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I've got a motion from Councilwoman McKinney. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And if there's no other business before the Health and Human Services Committee, I will close the meeting at 4:52.
At that point, I will call the Personnel Committee to order at 4:54. We have one item on the agenda this evening, 2026-046, a resolution enacting a 4% salary increase for current non-bargaining classified and unclassified employees of the Clerk of Courts, Counsel, Engineer, Executive, Fiscal Officer, Human Resource Commission, Internal Audit Department, Office of Information Technology, Prosecutor, and Sheriff, effective March 23rd, 2026, for the Executive's Department of Human Resources, declaring an emergency. Mr. Klepper.
Good afternoon. Chip Klepper, Director of Executive Shapiro's Department of Human Resources. We're requesting 4% for our general wage increase for 2026. This is in line with the FOP contract that you approved back in January. The FOP tends to be a pace setter, their negotiations tend to be a pace setter with, how we do our increases. This is, kind of, it will lay out. So this, having a 4% will also help with any kind of salary compression between non-bargaining and bargaining, which non-bargaining is mainly supervisors. So that's why we're requesting 4%.
Thank you very much. Do I have any questions from members of the committee? Members of council? May I have a motion? I have a motion from Councilman Donofrio on 2026-046. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. If there's no further business before the committee, personnel will close at 4:55.
And I will open Public Works at 4:55. First up is 2026-047, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute a grant agreement with the Summit Soil and Water Conservation District in the amount of $300,000 for services to the Surface Water Management District and pursuant to the county's MS4 permit for the executive and the engineer, and declaring an emergency. Mr. Prunty.
Good evening. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. I am Brian Prunty, the District Program Administrator with Summit Soil and Water Conservation District. As you mentioned in the resolution, the county and the communities that fall under the stormwater permit are regulated by Ohio EPA. This is a tripartite agreement with the Executive's Office, the County Engineer's Office, or the Surface Water Management District, and my office. We've had this 3 or 4 years now. It's an annual agreement. $300 would come from the local appropriation, get reimbursed by the Surface Water Management District. We do it that way so we could receive the state match of roughly $200,000 on that $300,000. So it's basically like the county gets a $200,000 grant this way. I want to thank the Executive's Office, you guys, and the county engineers for their support.
Great. Any questions for Mr. Prunty from members of the committee? Members of council? May I have a motion? Ms. Darrow moved on 2026-047. All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate it. Or Brian, sorry. Next up is 2026-048, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional service contract with the Osborne Engineering Company for engineering design services for the reconstruction of South Main Street and the replacement of the South Main Street Bridge over Feeder Canal near Vaughn Road, located in the city of Akron and Coventry Township in Council District 8, in an amount not to exceed $250,000 for the engineer, and declaring an emergency. Heidi.
Heidi Swindell, Summit County Engineer's Office. This project has been in the works for a very long time. We have recently secured $5.6 million in construction funding from AMATS. So since we now have the construction dollars, we are starting the design process. This is going to be part one, so we don't have to tie up too many funds in 1 year. But we did an RFP, and Osborne Engineering was the highest rated consultant that sent in a proposal. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from members of the committee? Members of council? Yes, Joe, go ahead.
Hi, Heidi. What, do we have a plan or I know it's not set in stone yet at this stage or design, but when this actual construction might take place?
Let me send you my capital budget. It is out in 2029 or 2030.
Okay.
So we've got there's some time before the funding hits.
Thanks, Heidi.
Any other questions? May I have a motion? Christine, I moved on 2026-048. All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Heidi. Next up is 2026-049, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with A&H Equipment Company at Sourcewell pricing for one new Ford T350 transit truck with a mounted Minicam storm sewer inspection system in a total amount not to exceed $248,000 for the engineer and declaring an emergency. Heidi.
Thank you. This is a vehicle that will also be able to clean and inspect storm sewers. We would be paying for this out of the assessed subdivision fund, but we would be tracking its use very carefully because we won't only use it in assessed subdivisions. We could use it in road right-of-way storm sewers or for the surface water management district, and then we would just charge that back to the fund and make the assessed subdivision fund whole. This will replace our annual $250,000 contract that we go out to bid for cleaning and inspection of storm sewers. So this one $250,000 purchase should take care of the next 15 years of cleaning and inspection.
Thank you. Any questions from members of the committee? Mr. Schmidt, any other general counsel? If not, oh, go ahead.
What kind of problems does this mounted Minicam inspection system catch?
Lots of routes where the storm sewer collapses, basically anything that you would get from the sewer pipe running from your house to the road. Some of them are a lot bigger, some of them are smaller, but yeah, it would catch the clogs and the collapses. And then it can also go through and cut out whatever's blocking it. It'll have that feature.
Is it something that's used when there's an issue, or is it something that's used generally to catch issues, or both?
Both. We are doing this as a preventative measure.
Okay.
But we can also use it if something backs up. We can then take it over there and see why it's backing up.
That's good to catch those things. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Hearing none, Mr. Schmidt moved on 2026-049. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Heidi. Next up is 2026-050, a resolution confirming an award by the Board of Control of a construction contract with Wingfoot Rental and Development Company, Inc. for Project Q836-1, Pump Station Number 82, replacement and force main replacement located in the city of Talmadge in Council District 6 in an amount not to exceed $1,865,285 for the Executive's Department of Sanitary Sewer Services and declaring an emergency. Mr. Vinay.
Thank you. Good evening. Michael Vinay, Executive Shapiro's Department of Sanitary Sewer Services. Council previously authorized the executive to advertise for bids for this project. That amount was a not to exceed of $3,452,491. That also covers project management and design reimbursement. However, even with that, this project came in significantly lower, which was a benefit to us with that $1.865 million amount. The project is to completely replace a pump station that's aging out, a force main that has suffered several breaks, with 2,555 new linear feet of force main, a new pump station, a new gas line, and a new backup generator. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from members of the committee? Members of council? Hearing none, may I have a motion on 050? Rita Darrow moved on 2026-050. All in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Next up was going to be 2026-051. That was withdrawn.
Can I touch on that, please?
Comment on that.
Chair?
Go ahead.
So this is to replace a tank truck that we use to maintain flow under emergency situations. We originally had an external lease built for the purchase of this truck. Mr. Montgomery and the Department of Finance and Budget are allowing us to use the internal lease fund for this purchase, saving us a considerable amount in financing, over $30,000. So we had to get the language right and make sure everything was stated properly in this resolution. The truck is available on site, so we will straighten that language out this week, and we are going to request that the executive submit this for an FRP next week.
Thank you. Thank you. Next up is 2026-052, our last item, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Enterprise Fleet Management, Inc. as a best practical source for the buyout of 27 vehicle leases in an amount not to exceed $38,816.77 for the Executive's Department of Sanitary Sewer Services and Community and Economic Development, and declaring an emergency. Mr. Benet.
Thank you. This was an equity lease executed starting in 2018 for pickup trucks for the Department of Sanitary Sewer Services. The thought process being that every few years we would turn in the trucks and receive new pickup trucks at a lower lease rate each subsequent time. Unfortunately, Enterprise has been unable to fulfill those new pickup trucks, so we've been utilizing these trucks for a number of years while we're still paying a monthly lease rate. At this point, I would like to buy these leases out, go back to a more traditional equipment purchase, but still have these trucks in our possession. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from members of the committee? Members of council? Hearing none? Go ahead, Joe.
Mike, is the 11,000 for everything? For all 27, or is it each?
No, that's, let's see what you're looking at here. It's $38,816.77 for everything.
For all 27 vehicles?
Yes.
Has it been so long?
Yes.
Gotcha. So this is the very wrap-up of this?
This is the end of this, and it's all based on book value as they depreciated.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
May I have a motion? Mr. Lecott moved on 2026-052. All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. And before I close the committee before I close, in the spirit of Rachel's excellent presentation on Women's History Month and the importance of recognizing folks in our community, last Wednesday, my wife and I had the pleasure of attending the Ellett High School sports banquet, and Mr. Klepper's sister was inducted into that Hall of Fame for her excellent athletic skills in the Ellett community. So, Chip, congratulations to you and your sister, and it's a very important thing to recognize. So, congratulations.
Thank you all.
I will close Public Works at 5:05.
Planning and Economic Development will open at 5:05. We have 3 items this evening. The first is 2026-053, a resolution confirming awards by the Board of Control of various community development contracts and authorizing the executive to disperse funds, including those that exceed an aggregate of $75,000 to community development contractors operating under contract with the Executive's Department of Community and Economic Development for housing and programs in calendar year 2026 for the period of 1/1/26 through 12/31/26 in an estimated total not to exceed $13,190,330 for the Executive's Department of Community and Economic Development. Holly.
Holly Miller, Department of Community and Economic Development. So this piece of legislation is for our minor home repair projects, Akron ARPA, household sewage treatment system, lead safe, lead abatement, aging in place, and OMAP. So those 7 programs, typically each job is anywhere between $3,000 to $55,000 when you get into lead abatement and lead safe. Because they're all under $75,000, we don't put them out for bid on Munis. However, we do have 12 approved companies that we email each quote opportunity to, along with Akron Urban League and the Black Chamber, to spread the opportunities through their networks that they have. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thanks. Any questions for Holly? May I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion from Mr. Wellhite on 2026-053. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. 2026-054, a resolution conforming awards of the Board of Control of various community development contracts and authorizing the executive to disperse funds, including those that exceed an aggregate of $75,000 to community development contractors operating under contract with the Executive's Department of Community and Economic Development for the Home Weatherization Program, HWAP, program in HWAP fiscal year 2026 for the period of 7/1/25 through 6/30/26 in an estimated total not to exceed $4,841,485 for the Executive's Department of Community and Economic Development and declaring an emergency.
So this is our HWAP and HWAP bill. These jobs are done using a price list and assigned on a rotating basis. And this price list has to be approved by the state. So in this year's contract with the state, we have 2 insulators, 7 heating contractors, 3 electricians, and 2 plumbers that each job is rotated through. Happy to answer any questions.
How many homes did you work on in the last fiscal year for this program?
Last fiscal year, 132.
And what do you, too hard to guesstimate, what are you thinking you're going to get
We have to do 145 this year.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Holly? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the last 2 items, housing program and HWAP, can you remind us which communities are eligible for this funding and which ones have their own?
So HWAP and HWAP bill is countywide, so it's all 31 communities. The only one that has the restriction is the prior piece of legislation, and that's the minor home repair that is funded with community development block grant funds. Everything else is countywide.
Any other questions? Ms. McKinney, would you like to move on that?
Yes.
I have a motion from Ms. McKinney on 2026-054. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Holly. Our last piece tonight is 2026-055, a resolution authorizing the executive to advertise for bids for the Department of Public Safety and Emergency Management build-out project located in the city of Talmadge in Council District 6 for an estimated total cost not to exceed $1.5 million for the Executive's Department of Administrative Services, Physical Plans, Department of Public Safety, and declaring an emergency.
Good evening, Lori Pesci, Executive's Office, Department of Public Safety. Our offices are currently located on the first floor of the Ohio building where we've been displaced since the renovations. And all of our training, our emergency operations center, and those activities happen out at the Combined Dispatch Center in Talmadge. So we thought this is a good opportunity to take a look at the remaining space that's in that building, to renovate it for our office space. Everything will be in one location. It will give the executive's office an opportunity to utilize the first floor for possible tenants in the Ohio building. So we will have office space, we'll have storage space. There's interest from the University of Akron and the Summit County Police Chiefs in putting a real-time crime center out there as well, so we'll have space for that. And it'll just make our operations more efficient.
Any questions for Lori?
Lori, just one quick question.
Sure.
By centralizing all of that, how does that allow for you to still have separate places depending on what emergency is happening? And so are those through other partnerships, through other communities where you have backup space, so you don't utilize the Ohio building as any type of central command center in your current space?
No, so we used to use city space for our emergency operations center. Now we would use, the space at the dispatch center is more accessible, it's not centrally located. But if something happens in the city of Talmadge where we would have to vacate there, we have other community partners that we work with, and we can essentially go anywhere. We have mobile phones and other things, other technology that we use.
Councilwoman Hyam, we are also including EMA in part of our build-out with the OIT department. So because public safety and emergency management goes hand in hand with OIT, they will also have office space in the Ohio building. So she'll have a satellite office there too.
Thank you, Greta. I forgot about that.
Any other questions? Would you like to move? I have a motion from Councilwoman Hyam on 2026-055. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Lori. Planning and Economic Development will close at 5:11.
Good evening, Public Safety will open at 5:11. We have 4 items tonight. We'll start with 2026-056, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute any documents necessary to accept the award from the Ohio Department of Public Safety's Office of Criminal Justice Services of an Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant for the period 1/1/26 through 12/31/26 in an amount not to exceed $117,030.32, with a 25% local cash match requirement in an amount not to exceed $39,010.07, for a total amount not to exceed $156,040.39 for the sheriff, and declaring an emergency.
Hello, Angela Just with the Sheriff's Office. This is our annual grant for our drug unit that we've had for many years now. This is an estimated match as we're waiting on the final award. And the total grant covers a portion of the drug unit commander's salary and benefits. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions from committee members? Council? May I have a motion, please? We had, who did I see over there? I saw two fingers. Okay. Councilwoman Darrow has moved on 2026-05. All those in favor, please signify by saying yay. Aye. Aye, or aye works too. Thank you. And the motion has passed. Those I should probably ask, are there any opposed? And seeing none, the motion is passed. Thank you. 2026-057, a resolution confirming the award of the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Hall Public Safety Co. For the purchase of upfit equipment for 15 new vehicles at public cooperative purchasing pricing in an amount not to exceed $183,306.60 for the sheriff and declaring an emergency.
This purchase is for the upfit of our 15 cruisers, which is actually in my next piece of legislation. It includes all the bits and pieces and parts that make up a cruiser. And they take about 3 to 5 days to upfit when we have all the equipment. So they're not real quick to get on the road because this equipment doesn't all come in at once. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from council? And from, well, I already asked if there's questions from council. Seeing none, may I have a motion on 2026-058? Mr. Schmidt moves on 2026-058. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. We have 2026-058, which is a resolution confirming the award of the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Montrose Auto Group for the purchase of 15 2026 Ford Explorer Police Interceptors at state term pricing in an amount not to exceed $662,949 for the sheriff and declaring an emergency.
This is the purchase of those 15 vehicles that will turn into marked cruisers. This is our annual purchase that we will then rotate older fleet out for newer fleet in. Some of those older cruisers will go to scrap if needed. Most will go into administrative use until they are done and then go to scrap. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions from committee? Questions from council?
It didn't go to bid because it's state term, but we did acquire other quotes, and they're all roughly within the same range. Most are more. We had one quote that was slightly under, but we chose to stick with Montrose because they do have great customer service, and we also have 2 other vehicles to purchase, so it was one big purchase together.
Other questions?
That has the state term contract. I believe some do. I don't know all of them. Our fleet manager handles all the quoting in that. Okay, I can get more information for you if you'd like. Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions? May I have a motion on 2026-058?
So moved.
Mr. Cation is moved on 2026-058. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 2026-059 is a resolution confirming the award of the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Montrose Auto Group for the purchase of 2 2026 Chevy Traverse all-wheel drive vehicles at CUE pricing in an amount not to exceed $84,863.72 for the sheriff and declaring an emergency.
And this is the other piece of that purchase, which is the 2 unmarked cars that will not be used in patrol purposes and marked as cruisers. Happy to answer any questions there.
Questions from the committee? Council? May I have a motion on 2026-059? Mr. Schmitz moved on 2026-059. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Not at all.
8 of us.
Thank you. And we will close public safety at 5:20.
Yeah, we'll open up finance at 5:20. We have one item, 2026-063, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Zix Corp Systems, Inc. at GSA co-op pricing for Office 365 service with Zix AppRiver Open Text as a cloud solution provider for a one-year term from 4/12/26 through 4/11/27 in an amount not to exceed $286,250.40 for the Office of Information Technology, declaring it an emergency.
Stephen Byrne, Office of Information Technology. So this covers all of our email licensing, so all the Office suites for all our charter agency users. This year we were able to get it on the, as it mentions, the GSA pricing, which saves us about $14,000 from what we paid last year.
Committee questions? Council questions? Mr. Hill, you want to? Mr. Wilhite moves on 2026-063. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, and I'll close out finance at 5:21.